No, because defeating the bad guy isn't enough. It never has been, and there are very few pieces of media that I think focus enough on that. Defeating the bad guy does not do shit if you don't also take a long, critical look at the systems and institutions that allowed for the bad guy's rise to power in the first place. This is why when I'm talking about Star Wars, I think that it's so important that we talk about New Republic era, which is this period of time when Leia Organa and Mon Mothma and Wedge Antilles, who are these rebel leaders that we have watched do their very best to topple Palpatine from his seat of power, who organized the entire rebel movement. And they all turn to each other and they say, yeah, wow, we really need a new system to replace the Empire because we have all of these people and we need to have a way to organize them and we need a way to govern. And then the system of government that they implement is the New Republic, which is built on the foundations of the Galactic Republic. And on paper, it sounds great, right? Here are all of these systems and institutions that are ready to govern people. But the problem with that is that those are the same institutions and systems that propped up and were very easily co-opted into the Empire. And there are people occupying positions of power within that system when it becomes the New Republic that are allowed to keep those positions of power because they are the ones who understand how those particular cogs in the machine work. And then you have Imperial sympathizers who rose to power under the Empire who are very, very high up in certain parts of the New Republic. And like Leia clocks that that's going to be a problem very early on. It's like a central piece of the original Thrawn trilogy. It also looks like something that they are interested in playing around with in the Ahsoka show, which I really appreciate. But as a historian, I think that it's important that that's a concept that Star Wars has always been interested in shoving in our faces. That A, fighting and governing are not the same thing, and just because you're good at doing rebellion does not mean that you are good at running government. And also that you need a larger systemic overhaul than just getting rid of the one bad guy in power. Because by not doing that effectively enough, that's how in Legends you get Shadow Academy and Darth Caedus. And in the current canon continuum, it's 1000% how you get the First Order, and they're making that very clear. And I'm really glad because, like, when we talk about war and conflict and systemic overhaul, that is one of the first things that comes to mind for me as a history person. And I think that there's not a lot of media that really gets into it like that, particularly that intended for younger audiences, at least with anywhere near the degree of eloquence that Star Wars lends to it.